The best era in Clippers history is officially over. What happens next is a mystery. As Blake Griffin limped off the court at Staples Center Monday night, the best era in Los Angeles Clippers history left with him. Some of the faces remain, at least for now. Doc Rivers is still the coach, and DeAndre Jordan is the starting center. Griffin, meanwhile, is in the first year of a 5-year max contract, and the MCL sprain he suffered Monday night when Austin Rivers fell into his leg will only keep him out of the lineup for a couple of months, as opposed to the rest of the season. But Griffin's departure is a fitting coda to both a terrific and tumultuous 6+ seasons in Los Angeles. So much has happened since Chris Paul arrived via trade on December 14, 2011 and transformed a franchise that had been his sports-wide laughingstock, making the playoffs just 4 times in the 33 years since moving from Buffalo to California, into one of the NBA's most prominent teams. The Clippers have now qualified for the postseason 6 straight years, making it to the second round in 3 of them. Yet, for all of the success these Clippers have had, the ignominious way everything is falling apart now only serves as a reminder of the shortcomings they've had along the way. Those shortcomings kept the franchise from accomplishing the things it hoped to, and now leave this run, at least for the time being, feeling more disappointing than it should. Some of this is because of the way the Clippers lost in the playoffs. Their inexplicable meltdowns in Game 5 of the 2014 Western Conference semifinals to the Oklahoma City Thunder and Game 6 of the same series the following year to the Houston Rockets prevented them from making the elusive trip to the conference finals that would have validated them. Instead, their rivals to the north, the Golden State Warriors, flew past them and became the league's dominant force, while the Clippers seemed to be stuck in neutral. Some of this also comes from the mismanagement of the roster that kept them from making the kind of tweaks needed to take the final step toward contention. The spine of the Clippers these past few seasons, Paul, Griffin, Jordan and J.J. Redick, was as good as any foursome in the NBA. Start any franchise with those 4 players, and it automatically would be among the top 10 teams in the league. To take the next step, though, the Clippers needed to surround those players with the proper supporting cast, and they fell completely flat. That's on Doc Rivers, the coach who was failed by dual roles of running the team on the court and in basketball operations. The Clippers have basically been as bad as possible when it comes to the draft over the past several years, selecting no players that have even come close to being consistent rotation players. Several almost immediately washed out of the NBA. And only one, Reggie Bullock, has had any kind of career. He's now on his 3rd team and has been a perennial 10th man at best. While Rivers has done a decent job of supplementing the roster with cheap veterans year after year, it forced the Clippers to start over every season with virtually a brand new supporting cast. Worse yet, without high-upside young players, they had no one that could inject youth and athleticism into an aging roster. They found no one like the Warriors uncovered in Patrick McCaw or Jordan Bell, or even Draymond Green, who was the number 35 pick, or the Rockets in Clint Capela or Chandler Parsons. They didn't even find anyone like Matthew Dellavedova, an undrafted free agent who helped the Cleveland Cavaliers win a title. That left the mid-level exception as the only other way for the team to add a significant piece, but Rivers squandered it on a series of bad buys. Spencer Hawes, Wesley Johnson and Paul Pierce were all disasters, offering far less than what was anticipated. The writing on the wall for this run ended when Paul left for Houston this summer, as Redick followed him out the door to Philadelphia shortly thereafter. Even though the Clippers did well in getting a nice haul for Paul, Patrick Beverley, Sam Dekker, Montrezl Harrell and a 2018 first-round pick, while keeping Griffin and signing Danilo Gallinari and Milos Teodosic in free agency, it felt like a roster that didn't fit together. It was also heavily reliant on several players with significant injury questions in Griffin, Beverley, Gallinari and Teodosic. Now all 4 of them are on the shelf, Beverley for the season following knee surgery, Griffin for the next 2 months, Teodosic for at least another month and Gallinari for at least another week. What's also on the shelf is any hope of these Clippers making the playoffs, as it seems impossible they'll be able to remain within striking distance of a playoff spot until Griffin comes back. That will lead to plenty of questions about what happens to the rest of this team in the coming weeks. The two men from the glory days left standing,